And here we go. Hey, what's up guys? Vag here, and welcome to something a little bit new. So I've done a lot of healing guides, and I'm trying to release a level 64 guide for my Shaman Healer. I told you I'd release one once I hit 60, and I've had the opportunity to play around with Healing Rain and Healing Wave a little bit more. And I want to get that video out to you, and I've tried to record it like twice now, and I keep lagging like crazy when I record that healing video. So maybe this is going to be the magic time. I'm going to record this tank one, and it's going to work perfectly when I could be doing the healing one. But I've never actually done a tanking video. Oh, we just got the Bonfire Blessing. Heck yes, Horde, baby. Anyway, so I wanted to make a tank video real quick to let you know what I do when I tank, and I don't think I ever made one. I think the only video I uploaded of my Juggernaut in Star Wars was a DPS build, Vengeance, if I remember correctly. So I want to make one real quick about tanking. We'll go over the basics with you about bear form. Obviously, we are a druid tank, if you couldn't tell by the icons down here. And I've been looking on the forums and stuff, and I see a lot of hate towards bear tanks. People think they're not so much that they're not easy to heal, but that they're not very much fun to play. I think it's fantastic. I absolutely love, and this was, I think this was for 6.1, so it was pretty recently, but people were complaining that they didn't like their bear tanks anymore. And I've never really had a problem. I've had one or two people tell me they were squishy, or that I was squishy, but I think it was just their lack of skill, to be honest with you. Because it's one or two people in the hundreds of dungeons that I've run. Since I hit level 15, I really haven't done any questing. I've leveled this guy from 15 to 71, 72, 72 now. He is almost 73, just by doing dungeons. And as a tank, you can queue up almost immediately. It's only been maybe a handful or more of times that I haven't gotten an instant queue on these dungeons. So it's really nice if you're a tank to level up that way. It goes super fast. I mean, you get 10,950 experience just for completing it. All the EXP in between that, especially when you're as rested as I am. And then you get, of course, the satchel of helpful goods and a little bit of money, which I've been selling a little bit of ores. I bought 3 heirloom pieces, and I'm back down to 284 gold. So it's really a good way, if you don't like questing like I do, run dungeons over and over and over and over and over, because you really can make a good bit of gold that way if you're not into professions. And really, some people wait until they're 100 to do any professions. And I've done a little bit of mining, but I will probably wait. Most of it will be me waiting to get to level 100. So anyway, we're going to go into bear form really quickly here. Obviously, that's going to be what you're going to tank in. It's going to be bear form. If you don't know that, get off my channel. Now, if you don't know that, you've come to the right place to learn it. I'm not going to call you a moron. You're in bear form. Bears are obviously the tanks of the druid class. So the first ability we're going to go over is Thrash. It's an absolutely free ability. It's an 8-yard range, and it strikes all enemy targets within 8 yards, dealing 269 bleed damage and an additional 1,472 damage over 16 seconds. This is going to be, really your bread and butter for group pulls. Anything more than one mob, you're going to be using Thrash. Now, not exclusively. Sometimes you'll see me use it over and 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 over again. And that is if I know that the mobs are weak. I'm not going to need to pop my cooldown or anything like that, or my dodge ability. I'll just use that to burn them down rather quickly. It does put a bleed on the target, and you can actually have 2 different bleeds, and we'll go over the second one now. Lacerate. Lacerates the enemy target, dealing 549 bleed damage and an additional 705 over 15 seconds, stacks up to 3 times. Now, tanks aren't really supposed to DPS. Now, you can pull off a good bit of DPS as a bear tank, I think, if you play the rotation right. But for Lacerate, I usually don't stack it up any more than once or twice. Maybe it gets to 3 by the time small mobs are down. But the only time you're really going to stack it up to 3 times, and you're really going to be of any use to you is when you're single targeting. Now I will swap between Lacerate and Thrash even on multiple targets, and we'll see why on this next ability. That is Mangle. Mangle's a target for 1,928 physical damage, reducing the target's movement speed by 50% for 12 seconds and generating 15 rage. This is your bread and butter for rage building. So what's going to happen is you're going to be using Thrash, putting a bleed up on the target or getting some aggro. If it's a multi-mob pull, if it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 enemies at a time, you're probably going to want to use Thrash a couple of times before you start putting in Lacerate, just to make sure that you have that aggro on those enemies. So you're going to Thrash, and as you can see, I can use it without even having a target. So really, you can put your back to the enemy and kite a few of them around, getting your pull together while sitting here using Thrash. And I just love being a giant bear. I mean, it's freaking awesome. They don't look very big, but I'm going to go ahead and stand next to this troll real quick just to show you, because I want to take up some more time in the video. But standing next to a troll, I mean, I'm a really decent size, and you get kind of used to it being zoomed out like this. But you see, I am actually quite massive compared to this Blood Elf Hunter. This Tauren is a little bit bigger than me, because I do shrink a little bit, but you're about the size of a Tauren. When I sit, you know, I'm up to his chest, so they're pretty big. But anyway, so Thrash is going to be your bread and butter. You're going to alternate, because Lacerate is actually going to proc. It generates 2 rage and has a 25% chance to reset the cooldown on Mangle. So that means about 1 in every 4 Lacerates that you use, maybe more. I've had it proc 2-3 times in a row. Is going to proc Mangle. It's going to reset the cooldown, and you're going to be able to hit it right away and generate 15 more rage. So every time Mangle is off cooldown, you're going to want to hit Mangle to generate your rage up. Ball is basically your rage dump. When you're on a boss, I do like to use this just as a rage dump, and also because it mauls the target for 524 physical damage and an additional 524 damage to a nearby target. The reason for that is because of my glyph that I took is Glyph of Maul. Comes with the tree when you select Guardian. So my Maul ability now hits an additional target for 50% damage. The other glyph I took was Fairy Fire, because, well, there's really nothing else here. I haven't bought any quite yet. So I'm level 71 and haven't bought any glyphs. And you say, well, you're a nub, go buy some glyphs. I probably will eventually, but it hasn't been a really big deal as of yet. The other one I took is Glyph of the Stag. My Malai travel form can be used by party members because it's a stag. I don't use the cheetah or anything like that. So Maul, or Mangle rather, is going to be your bread and butter for pulling rage, and Maul is going to be your rage dump, and also it does... when it procs, it actually gives you a armor debuff as well. It reduces their physical damage that they do. So War Stomp is the Tauren racial ability, stuns up to 5 enemies. Really, really useful. That's why one of the reasons I love being a Tauren Druid, other than the fact that I don't like the way the trolls look. Now their flight form is incredibly 100 times better. It's a giant bat. But War Stomp is a really awesome ability for kiting a mob together and then stunning them so that you can make sure you have that aggro with Thrash. 6 is Survival Instincts. It reduces all damage taken by 50% for 6 seconds with 2 charges. It means you can use it twice in 2 minutes, and you'll have to wait the 2 minutes for 1 charge to build up, and then 2 minutes for the next charge. Skull Bash, you charge and Skull Bash the target, interrupting spellcasting, preventing any spell in that school from being cast for 4 seconds. That's all the way up here on 7 because I don't find myself using it very much, only because your DPS, and especially your ranged DPS, now that everybody has an interrupt, usually take care of that for me. But if I need to, it's right there that I can just reach my pinky finger over and hit 7. 8 is going to be Berserk. Causes your Mangle ability to hit up to 3 targets and have no cooldown. This is like a burst damage kind of thing. If you want to burn through a mob really quickly, or if you're on a boss and you really want to you need to get your rage up, or even if you're not on a boss, if you need to get your rage up really fast, you can pop that and then just mangle. 15 every time you use Mangle. In no time, you'll have enough for your cooldowns. We'll go over those in just a second. Let's get rid of the photo bomb and this health stone that we don't actually use. The next one is Fairy Fire. I don't find myself using that very much unless I PvP every great once in a while. Fairies surround the target, preventing stealth and invisibility. Deals 157 damage and silences for 3 seconds when cast in bear form. So it's a ranged silence pretty much. I have this bound to middle mouse button, my Frenzied Regeneration. It instantly converts up to 60 rage into up to 2,719 health. So this is more of a boss type ability I have found. Correct me if I'm wrong for any bear tanks that might watch this, but I don't find myself using my Savage Defense, we'll go over that in a second, as much with a boss enemy, unless I know that they're going to pop some kind of AoE that's going to do damage, or they're going to channel some ability or something like that. Normally bosses have a auto attack damage and they use some spells to go after the raid, but most of the time they're actually just using their auto attack on you, and I don't find it as useful for bosses, my Savage Defense, as I do Frenzied Regeneration. Now in a big group of mobs you're going to want to use Savage Defense, and we will get to it in a minute, I promise, but for boss fights I find myself using Frenzied Regeneration just to give my healer that extra little boost. And then of course with a boss mob you're going to be proccing Mangle a lot more because you're going to be lacerating. You're going to put Thrash up to get the bleed, and then lacerate over and over and over, and when Mangle procs, you use that. We'll go through that when we queue for dungeon, and I'll show you how that actually works. But Thrash, you're basically just refreshing that that bleed for a boss. You're not going to be using Thrash over and over. You're going to use Lacerate because it's a single target damage, and it also generates 2 rage, whereas Thrash generates 1. It has that chance to proc Mangle. So Savage Defense is the ability we were just talking about. Increases your chance to dodge by 45% for 6 seconds. So one of the complaints I heard about bear tanks was that their dodge, you get unlucky and you don't dodge very much. I wouldn't say luck is really a factor into it, because at this point, at 7.82% dodge, and my gear doesn't have any dodge on it. That's some stuff that you're going to be gemming for and things like that. But the gear that I win that has slots actually isn't as good. It doesn't give me anywhere near as much agility or stamina as the gear here with no sockets. So until we get sockets, until we get up to like the 80, 90, 100s, where you were running into more difficult content for the newer expansions, we're not going to worry about socketing, and maybe not even till maybe 90, because 90 is that 10 level gap where you're running raids and stuff to try and get up to level 100. So we'll probably worry about gemming then, but until then, I'm not concerned about it. So, but you can see my chance to dodge will be around 51%, 51, 45, 52. Yeah, I'm terrible at math. It'll be 52 point some odd percent, something like that. So that's almost half of every ability used, and even if it's not half of everyone, it still helps. So I don't see why it's such an issue. You're not going to get unlucky. It's based on your percentages, and if you can get that, you're not going to max out your dodge. It obviously has diminishing returns. It'll probably be up at around the 75 to 80, maybe close to 90s, but that would be really overpowered. So I'm interested to see how far you can get your dodge up before you get diminishing returns. We'll find out what the cap for that is when, like I said, at 90 to 100 when we're actually queuing for those raids. Wild Charge is the ability I took in the talent tree. Feline Swiftness, just I don't need to have the 15% speed increase. I'm not a druid, or I'm not a monk. I don't need to activate cat form, so I took Wild Charge. In no shapeshift, it's going to fly to an ally's position. You target them and hit it, and it will fly to their position. Bear form is a charge. Cat form is a leap and a daze. Travel form, you leap forward. It's worthless. And aquatic form increases your swim speed by 150%. So, aquatic form is just one of them things to play around with. But in bear form, it does have an 8 to 25 yard range, and it's going to charge to an enemy, immobilizing them for 4 seconds. You could argue that it's more of a PvP ability, but it's also a gap closer to hurry things along a little bit. And if an ally is taking damage, I can charge the mob on them, and it will stun that mob. So I took Wild Charge. I think it's really important. I'm used to having one as a warrior and as a juggernaut in Star Wars. I was used to having that force charge and that charge. So force leap, sorry, and that charge. So I took a Wild Charge. Number 3 is also a talent on the second tier. It's called Renewal. That's going to heal me for 30% of my maximum health, and I can use it in any form. Growl is a taunt. No need to say anything more about that. Bark Skin. The druid's skin becomes as tough as bark, reducing all damage taken by 20% for 12 seconds, while protected damaging attacks will not cause spell casting delays. So if you're a druid healer and you use this, you won't get knockback from abilities hitting you while you're casting. It's usable while you're stunned, frozen, incapacitated, feared, asleep, and in all forms. Mass Entanglement is another one I just took because I really didn't... Fairy Swarm really I don't use. So Mass Entanglement was just something in case I lose aggro, I can pop that and stop the mobs from moving, and then pick them back up with Lacerate or something, or with Thrash or something like that. Typhoon, you don't really want to knock enemies back away from you when you're a tank, so that wasn't really useful in taking. So we went with that. We'll go over to the next one, Soul of the Forest. Mangle generates 5 more rage and deals 15% more damage. That's a no-brainer. More rage is good. It now gives me 15 rage as opposed to 10. You could argue for Incarnation Son of Ursoc. It changes your bear form a little bit when you pop the cooldown, and it reduces the cooldown on all melee abilities and growl to 1.5 seconds, and it lasts 30 seconds. But you already have Berserk, and you're really not going to need that for anything more than to generate some rage. And outside of that, you can generate 5 more rage with Mangle, and then also when you use this, to give it no cooldown for 10 whole seconds. So really, Soul of the Forest to me was a no-brainer. So that's enough of those. We also have our dash and our Mark of the Wild. Make sure you cast Mark of the Wild every time you get into a dungeon. People will love you for it, as it increases stealth, agility, and intellect by 5, versatility by 3. And all members of the raid are going to be, all members of the party or raid are going to be affected with that if the one you target is in your party or raid. So that is about it. That's all the abilities. Let's go ahead and queue for a dungeon. Hopefully it'll pop right away, and I won't need to cut any of this out. This will probably be a longer-ish video, but that's okay. If you guys didn't want to watch it, you didn't have to. Um, and I wanted to go over the abilities here as well. So we're gonna wait for dungeon for a few more seconds. I'll talk, and if it doesn't pop, and it did while I was in the middle of saying that, I had to finish my thought. Oh, that's not good. Everybody was already channeled up. Oh, we're actually in a fresh one. Okay, I thought for sure since it was instant like that, or that when I hit it, everybody else had readied up. That's unheard of. So I thought that I had joined one in progress. That's not always a good thing. Let's target where my healer's at. It's right here. Okay. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to try and give you a rundown on what I'm doing, as I do in all my videos. When I have 60 rage, if it's more than one enemy, I'm usually going to pop Savage Defense. I might miss telling you that, because I'm so just used to popping it. There you see that wild charge. And we're going to start with a Mangle, and a Lacerate, then a Thrash. We got 2 bleeds on him now. We Lacerate, proc Mangle. And like I said, since it's just one guy, I'm just going to burn through. I'm going to dump my rage with Maul down here. Just burn through it. Otherwise, I usually wouldn't burn my rage like that. I would save it up so that I have Savage Defense when I need it. And you'll see me max out on rage once in a while. And you know, something I'm going to hear is, "Oh, you should dump your rage. You can't sit on 100 rage." To me, as long as I don't sit on it for like 3 or 4 pulls, it's really not a big deal. You know, you're gonna have excess of rage sometimes. I mean, if Maul's on cooldown, I'm just not thinking about it, and I miss a proc. What in the world? Okay, maybe is that a new hunter ability I don't know about? He had like 3 or 4 crabs. But these guys see I'm going to pop War Stomp, and then my Savage Defense. Mangle. There. That proc Mangle with my Lacerate, so I can go ahead and use it again. Now I'm frozen forever. But you'll see I was alternating between Thrash and the Lacerate there. Trying to get Lacerate to proc my Mangle. So let's push deeper into the bowels. Alright, I'm going to charge up to this guy and mangle him. Then we're going to thrash as we run towards these 2 guys, because you know we don't really need a target. We can hit things in 360 degrees. We're just going to burn through our, Maul and Mangle. Now I do miss the Mangle proc sometimes because it's hard to be perfect when it procs and you're already just like spamming the 2 keys. So you can see me hitting it out of range, just because it's almost no cooldown, so you can just keep hitting it. Pop our Savage Defense, Lacerate, Mangle, Thrash. We're getting these guys coming at us. We're going to Thrash all the way up here, pop it again, and our Bark Skin, just in case. That was this one. Make sure we have. See there, I'm just using Thrash over there. We're going to pop Renewal because the healer is scaring me. And then we're going to use our Frenzied Regeneration, as we still had a stack of Savage Defense on us. I don't usually use Savage Defense. If I have 1 charge left, I won't burn that 2nd charge unless I really need to. I'll keep it just in case, and I'm going to lose too much crap on that for dodge. I'm going to keep it just in case I need it. If I really, really need it, if it's an emergency, I will pop it to 0. Otherwise, I like to have it as a little safety net. We proc Mangle again. We have an excess of rage, so we're going to dump it. I'll use it here because I'm getting kind of low. Again, the tank is scaring me. I'm also going to Survival Instincts. The healer is scaring me, rather. I'm going to use Survival Instincts just in case. Survival Instincts does take a while to come back. It's 2 minutes for every charge. But it does cut your damage completely in half, so it's really nice. It's a really nice ability, so I can see why it has such a long cooldown. And here we're just going to Lacerate and Maul and Mangle and Lacerate. Not going to worry about popping anything. Savage Defense is not needed on one mob. Charge up to this guy. We use our War Stomp just because we can, so we have a little extra time before he freezes us. We'll use Savage Defense because we can. We have an excess of rage, and these guys are easy. There we proc Mangle with Lacerate. See, it is kind of lucky you get the proc, but it's 25% of the time. So all you gotta do is use Lacerate and Thrash, Lacerate, Thrash, and that actually not only will it keep aggro on the other enemies, but then it also increases your chances. Now, that's just how I've come to do it, because I feel like, see there, I missed that Mangle proc. I just went and used Lacerate again. Not a big deal. It's not going to make or break your build. It's not going to make or break your tank, so whatever. Make sure our healer's with us. He still is, so we're going to go ahead and charge in. Pop our bark skin. And we're at 100, pop our savage defense. And I'm just thrashing. I'm not trying to proc mangle at this point, because I really don't need to. These mobs aren't strong enough. That I'm going to need an excess amount of rage, or really need to pop my savage defense. As a druid, I love being silenced because it does actually. So we'll pop our savage defense here just because I thought about it. I thought about explaining it and I actually popped it. What she's going to do is she's going to do this crap where she starts throwing you around everywhere. Oh, that's not yet. That's actually after this. So I keep using it prematurely, thinking about it. She's going to throw you around and do a bunch of damage. I'm not sure if you can actually dodge that. I don't think I had the bright idea to do that last time. But we'll see if you can actually dodge all those little things she throws at you. All the little times she bounces you around. She might not even get the chance. She might have already missed her chance to do it. Since the burst damage aside. We'll pop it again anyway, just in case. No, she's not going to get... There we go. She did. Doesn't look like you can dodge it. I'm pretty sure I would have dodged at least one or two of those. If it were possible. So, doesn't look like you can, but it was worth a try. You know, I just want to throw out there, 20 minutes into the video, that I am not a pro tank in any way, shape, or form. I've heard of hero bears. I know when I was with my ex a long time ago when we played together, she knew a friend in a guild that had what they called the hero bear, and he survived a raid boss from about a quarter health. He was able to use his... sorry, that's my fault. I am a bad tank. My bad, buddy. I'm recording. Didn't even realize what was going on, and we're probably going to wipe because of that. Oops. See, I should not have used my maul there because I need all the health I can get. He basically did this. He was just able to keep his savage defense up and his frenzied regeneration, and he ended up living through the entire quarter health of the raid boss, and finished it off himself. So I guess played right, the bear tanks can be pretty awesome. Played horribly, they can be pretty bad. Okay, I'll make sure he's ready. We should type an instance chat though, because that's the intelligent thing to do. Sorry guys, I'm recording a tanking video, and I lost track of what was going on, and my healer died. So I am a pro tank. Don't need no stinking healer. Yeah, that's not true. For these guys, we're just going to go ahead and use Frenzied Regeneration because they're not strong enough that we need Savage Defense. The more I use it, the more I actually think it's worth it. I mean, it's only about 3k worth of healing, but that's going to scale. And it's actually a really good move. Sometimes you don't even need Savage Defense. Like for this pool, we're going to pop our bark skin though for sure. For this pool, we might not even need Savage Defense. We might be able to just do this with Frenzied Regeneration. It's off the global cooldown, so you can actually use it right after another ability. So I don't need to worry about it being... I don't need to worry about having to wait till my other abilities come off the global cooldown. I can just let them pop it. I think it only goes for me, though. I can't use it on somebody else. So. But cats can, if they're in cat form and they get that overpowered clear casting proc. They can go ahead and heal anybody they want. It's pretty special. Let's stun these guys and then use it. So we're going to experiment with it a little bit in this video. You guys are going to see it firsthand. We'll try and use Frenzied Regeneration more than Savage Defense. We'll see which works better. So far, Savage Defense is doing a really good job of healing me. I have it bound to my middle mouse button, as I said, because I had all my abilities for my commando, again, for those of you who see my Star Wars videos. I had all those abilities, like my instant cast and my vent heat. I had those on the middle mouse button because they were easily reachable. This is actually working rather well. I'm using Frenzied Regeneration over Savage Defense. You can use it at any amount of rage. I used it 57 and it took all of it. So you can use it at any amount of rage. It's all about finding the timing, I guess, of when to use it, when it's a waste, when it's not. But if you're in trouble and you really just need to get yourself up Wouldn't worry too much about when you use it. I would use it at 40 to 60 rage, I would say, if you were in trouble and really need to pop that. Use it there, keep myself up. It's actually working really, really well. I'm impressed by how well it actually works. I feel like in PvP, I use my Savage Defense a lot. Yeah, 73. Ding, you saw it. Dungeon. I've been using Savage Defense when a bunch of people are beating on me, and that probably is a better idea for PvP. But again, I don't know, so maybe it would be better for me to use Frenzied Regeneration. See, my angle is not proccing every, 3 times there. Oops, need to kill the Rift, not him. So, I mean, it is luck, to get your mangle to pop, but, it's, I don't know, it doesn't ruin the bear tank for me. This is my favorite. I tanked as a warrior back in Cataclysm, when Cataclysm first dropped. I warrior tanked. And the bear is much more fun to me than the warrior tank. What is this? Oh, sated. And the bear tank is much more fun. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me, but I am absolutely loving bear tank. It's a lot of fun. It's fast. It's easy to pick up one, I think, and it's fast, and I absolutely love it. So I do apologize. The video is probably going to run close to about 35 minutes or so, but there I just popped Savage Defense, not even thinking about it. I wasn't supposed to do that. I was supposed to be testing out my Frenzied Regeneration. Unfortunately, I mean, you generate enough rage without needing an ability like this, but unfortunately bears don't... Oops. Right, we lost him. My bad, guys. Sorry. When I record like this, I get off... I lose my train of thought, and I end up making stupid noob mistakes, which I shouldn't be making at this level. Like that, for instance, not watching my party and getting them hurt. Losing aggro, things like that. Now I completely forget what I was saying. Alright, we're just gonna run behind these guys and beat on them. They're not gonna do us any problems. We're gonna grab all the crystalline flares real quick here and then come back. And apparently we're gonna grab that guy as well. And these are there. Lacerate, mangle proc, mangle, thrash, lacerate, thrash, lacerate, even though it's a single target, maul, mangle. We're going to pull all this, show you the power of the bear tank. Come back here. And what's nice is you can actually use your Savage Defense and then Frenzied Regeneration really on top of that, and I'm going to die. Oh, there's my cooldowns. Come on, healer, we got this. Take some pressure off the healer. Savage Defense again. Frenzied Regeneration. Mangle. Thrash. Savage Defense is coming off. Use it again. Thrash. Thrash. 50 rage. Mangle. Frenzied Regeneration. Alright, I'm talking. This is quite nerve-wracking, actually. It's harder than I thought it was going to be. So we're going to fly through this. But we're not. So we're just taking it quite slow. But we're going to make it because the healer's a boss, and I probably made a lot of mistakes there. I probably could have used cooldowns a lot better and gotten more rage out of that, but we lived, so it doesn't really matter, does it? Okay, we're going to go this way. Oh, mangle proc, and I almost missed it. Use them all, mangle. And we'll just run with these guys. We use Savage Defense and our Arc Skin. Just in case, because we can do that. There we go. So, you know, use Frenzied Regeneration. It's a really nice move. It doesn't seem like very much health, but at the rate that you can pick up mana, I mean, there's 69, I'm going to use it. I'm back down to 20. I'm at 36, 38. Oops, I'm out of range, 58. I mean, you really do get back up to a lot of mana, or a lot of rage, rather, pretty quickly. So it might not seem like a great ability, but the more I use it, the more I see that it actually is really nice. I'm going to use Savage Defense here, just because these guys are hitting for a lot. Dodging a good bit of that. And then Frenzied Regeneration. Now, Maul, when it procs like that, like I said, Tooth and Claw, my next Maul causes my victim's next auto attack to deal less damage. Okay, more for, like I said, more for bosses because they do use auto attacks, and then just mainly spells. They use, you know, some of them use like cleave abilities or like a thrash or a maul, but more often than not, their big annoyance is going to be the auto attack damage. So I use it on bosses a lot. I don't use it too much on regular mobs, unless I have a raid, need to rage jump like that. When it's one guy and I'm up to 56 rage, right before I use my mangle, I'll use my maul, so I don't overdo it on rage. Alright, we're gonna grab all these, pop a bark skin and our savage defense. Oops, I was just about to war stun because I knew that stun was coming, but I was not fast enough there. So I mean, this is why I love bear attacking. I have a bunch of cooldowns that I can use, and that I have at my disposal. One of them is renewal, which is an absolute godsend. It does so much healing, especially for bear tanks, because the more health you have, the more it's going to heal you. So it's absolutely amazing for that. Right, we're going to use Savage Defense, pop ourselves back up to full, and dead. So hopefully, I know that I trail off. I'm not going to go out and say every single ability I'm using, but hopefully you get an idea. You can see me using just Lacerate here. I'm just spamming it, Maul, Mangle, Lacerate, Lacerate, Maul, Lacerate, Mangle, Lacerate. You know, it's pretty easy for this boss. I'm not taking any big real damage. I might pop I'll pop it here, Savage Defense. I might as well. See how dodge his auto attack. He goes into a frenzy because he's still not dead. But it's not. Greaves of the Blue Flight. Can't really tell what they look like in the Tarn. They look kind of cool. Picture looks cool though. Alright, and this way we go. Let's use cat form because I am impatient. So we're almost done. Again, I do apologize for it being 32 minutes, but I feel that it was important to get all those abilities out of the way so you knew what the world was going on, because it is so fast-paced as a bear. So you had some idea of what I was actually doing. Now, we're at full, but I don't care because it's a small one. We'll pop our Frenzied Regeneration now. And you dead, Fawn. I fondled her. No. Sorry. It was uncalled for. That was lame. Not so much that it was uncalled for, but it was lame. Alright, and our Mangle procced again. Our Maul's still up. We got a huge amount of rage coming. So we just keep using that Maul. I don't care about you as your order. Goodbye. Alright, so this is the boss. Sometimes it seems I have problems with it. You have to jump, and then other times you don't have to. Other times you don't take the damage from standing. And if you're a healer, it makes it really frustrating to try and heal this, because your party has to keep jumping like it. They pulled the Azure Ward, which sucks for them, because I'm all the way up here. Oh, they're good. Okay, they killed me. They're capable. They're handy capable. Alright, so you gotta click the globes to get this one started. But yeah, sometimes you take that damage from standing in place, and you have to run, you have to jump. And other times you don't. I don't really know what causes it, but she might have a cleave, so let's turn her away. Oh, Tanking Basics 101. Turn the enemy away from your party, and keep an eye on your party's health bars as... Oh, is it a curable thing? Seems like it is. We're going to keep jumping anyway. It used to be that you had to keep jumping to negate that damage. I'm not sure how true that is anymore. The healer looks like he's having some trouble with himself. You're scaring me, healer. Oh yeah, we made it. And I still had my renewal. We did awesome. So I would need that for off-spec, but I already have one. So we won't be doing that. That would be the mean thing to do. And I'm not that kind of guy, so we're just not going to. So anyway, that is the end of the dungeon. The video is running about 34 minutes, and I'm going to end this as soon as I can. I do tend to ramble, but you know, like I said, tanking 101, keep the mob away from your allies, keep the boss turned away, because if they have cleave damage, it will do damage to them. Keep an eye on the health bars. These are the basic raid frames. This is all basic UI stuff. I don't use any add-ons for this stuff. I would like to use Bartender maybe just to shrink this stuff a little bit, but other than that, I won't use any add-ons. So this is basic. The portraits will glow red if you hadn't noticed when somebody grabs aggro, yellow when they're gaining it, when you're losing it, and then red when you actually have lost aggro. So keep an eye on your health bars, keep the enemies faced away from your group because of the cleave damage, and use the rotation I just gave you. Hopefully that video really helped you out. I wanted to do a tank one for a while, because it seemed like I know what I'm doing at level 73 by now, running almost nothing but dungeons as the bear tank. I love bear tanking. I'll be playing this guy for a very long time, and I will be releasing the second part of the shaman healing as well, now that I have healing rain and healing wave, as soon as I stop lagging when I try to record my healer. So anyway, I'm going to end the video, guys. Thank you for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe. Leave me a comment below. Let me know how the video was. If you have any more questions I forgot about, because I don't take notes, I just record and then talk. So if I forgot anything, please let me know. And this is the end. So as always, Finn.